Hi everyone, this is Umakan, Research Scholar, Department of Physics, IIT Bombay. So I am going to describe how was the interview experience of Babaji Charana Sahu, who is now the scientist at BARC. So he is one of my senior, and he is really a brilliant student. Uh, he's always dedicated, and his preparation was very uh, influential actually. So we had a group and still have that group of 7 people. So we generally prepared for BRC, and luckily Babaji Bhai has cleared BRC in this year, and he is joined as a BRC scientist at BRC Mumbai Center. So a huge request was there to bring Babaji Bhai on the video, but unfortunately now as per the guideline, so he can join any uh, public session in order to deliver something personal, yeah, and something like associated to his professional life. So it's not possible to bring him on the video, but he has described or shared every questions to me, and has uh, explained me how was the atmosphere or the situation inside the interview hall. So I will try to make it more influential so that you will get benefited. So that the theme of this video. So let's start the session and we'll discuss how are the questions to BR to Babaji Bhai in BRC 2021 panel. Okay, so let's start the session. And thus the question is like that. First of all, Babaji Bhai has chosen 5 topics, that is quantum mechanics, atomic molecular physics, and nuclear physics. So he chose quantum mechanics, atomic molecular physics, nuclear physics, solid state, and EMT theory. So let's start from quantum mechanics. What was the questions and how he was approached? So first of all, quantum mechanics question was started from the uh, very basics. That is from which experiment the quantum mechanics comes into picture. So that was the very basic question. Then he asked about explaining the black body radiation and different energy density versus lambda graph. Then he went to the Bohr's theory. Then asked to prove the angular momentum is equal to ampere, which is the quantization formula from Bohr's theory. That was the question. These are the very basics actually. Okay. Then he start from LHO, that is linear harmonic oscillator, and he asked to draw the ground state wave function, as you know. Okay. So that particular teacher was asked about the time period of the LHO, that is how one can find the time period of the uh, harmonic oscillator in term of force constant. Okay, so this is all about the linear harmonic oscillator. Then what happens if the base of the linear harmonic oscillator is flat? Because in generally the harmonic oscillator they draw the shape is like parabolic, but the question was like that, if this base is will be flat, like, okay, so what will the change in the wave function, change in the time period? So what will the change? Okay, the change will be in time period, change will be on the wave function. So what kind of changes you expect if you make the base flatter? Okay, so this is all about the linear harmonic oscillator or quantum harmonic oscillator. Then the probability of linear harmonic oscillator in classical mechanics of quantum mechanics is very easy. It's very easy, as you know, in quantum harmonic oscillator. The probability is maximum on the mid position on the center of the potential, but in classical harmonic oscillator the probability is maximum on the extrema and is minimum on the mean position. So this is the difference, but this is a very basic question, but this question is asked several time in many PhD interview also. So these are the questions from quantum mechanics section. So I think now you got the question that were asked to Babaji Bhai from quantum mechanics. Okay, you can note it. Okay, for the further reference or the further preparation. So next, going to solid state physics, because he told that he is comfortable on condensed matter physics. So the people are immediately start asking from solid state physics. So the question was like, what is the crystal structure? And one of the thing I should mention is that in case of Babaji Bhai, the people were started from very basics. like what is crystal structure, and they are moving to deeper and deeper to deeper, and you will get the point up to which depth they have went in the inside the interview hall. Okay, so let's start about the question. What are the question for solid state physics? So they basically asked about the crystal structure. As you know, this is a very basic question, crystal structure. Then lattice and basis, and the relation, that is crystal is equal to a lattice plus basis. Basically, we substitute the atom or group of atom, that is the basis, on the point, imaginary point in the space, that is lattice, and the whole thing is contributed to the crystal. Okay. So then the crystal structure of NaCl, because you know NaCl is FCC in nature, and Na plus and Cl minus position, as you know very well. Then lattice constant NaCl and a basis of NaCl. You know in NaCl, Na plus and Cl minus are the basis, and they are substituted at the different position of the unit cell, which finally contribute to the crystal structure of the NaCl. Okay. Then write the coordinate of Na and Cl minus. It should be well recognized, because Na plus atom are reside in the corner, then Cl minus on the face center as well as on the edge center. Then you should know the coordinate of the corresponding ions in the unit cell. Then how to know the crystal structure of NaCl? This is important. This question is very nice question. How to know which is a crystal? Know the crystal structure of NaCl. You know, in order to know the crystal structure, you have to do XRD. So XRD is the prominent experimental tool in order to know it is a FCC or BCC or SCC or SCB or whatever it kind may be. Okay. So XRD is the important tools. Then he asked to explain X-ray in detail. So you know how X-ray generated, that is high energetic electron beam when fall on the high atomic number or a heavy target matter like molybdenum, copper, okay, or tungsten. So it resulted into some kind of X-ray, that is K alpha and K beta line are there. So this is the origin of X-ray. So you can explain. Then which part of X-ray radiation used for XRD? Basically, we need the monochromatic source for XRD, because in XRD we know there is a diffraction, and for diffraction there is a need of monochromatic source. That's why we should use K alpha only in order to find the XRD of a particular sample. Then X-ray will fall on the sample. What will happen? Then X-ray, when X-ray will fall on the sample, there is diffraction from the corresponding plane present in the sample. Then the constitutive interference will be there, and which is resulting into the peak. These are the basic questions. Then draw the diffraction pattern. You can easily draw the any XRD pattern of any kind of material and can explain. Then what is used in device camera? So one should understand our basic construction of device killer formula, device killer camera, and device killer formula that we use, that is del 2 theta is equal to k lambda by beta cos theta. So this is device killer formula. One should recognize it. This is the crystallitic size. Okay. So k is just like 0.9, and lambda is the wavelength of the X-ray that is used in X-ray diffraction, and beta is the full width half maximum, and theta is the corresponding theta for the corresponding peak, which is under consideration. Then why peak height is different in XRD? This is most important genuine question, because it depends upon the depth of the plane from where X-ray is coming out. So this is depending upon that intensity is get varied. So this is all about the basic question from solid state physics. Like I said, these are the very important and very basic and important question. Okay. So if you can explain it in very well, then the people will be happy, because they can get point that your basic is very clear. Then the people move to the magnetism part of the solid state physics. They asked that what is ferromagnetic material and what is paramagnetic material. Then he asked to differentiate how you can difference know one material is ferro and one is paramagnetic material. So I think depending upon the susceptibility and temperature, you can recognize. Also some kind of experimental tools is there like VSM, so which can be used for the in order to know the para and ferromagnetic material. Then do you know the exchange and super exchange interaction? Then write the Hamiltonian of the exchange interaction. If it is applicable for anti-ferromagnetic metal, then write the Hamiltonian. Okay, so this is the question from magnetism of the solid state physics part. Then the people are into the nuclear physics part. Then he asked to write the binding energy curve versus atomic number. The graph you generally use, that is binding energy for atomic mass versus atomic mass. Then the graph generally we used like something like that. Then he asked the question like why you get the peak, or you there is a peak for helium, carbon and oxygen in this graph. So you have to explain why for helium and carbon for oxygen there is a peak, there are peaks, okay, in the binding energy versus atomic number curve. So then he asked the question about to why after iron, that is atomic mass is 56, there is a decreasing of this curve, okay. So what is the nuclear fusion? Then why DT reaction is not possible whereas HS reaction is possible in fusion? Then is time period depend on the fusion or not? Then why ITL project is not was not possible? Then why scientists fail to do fusion? This is important question. Then beta decay spectrum you have to draw there. What the kind of spectrum you got in beta decay? Then why it is continuous? You have to explain it. Why beta decay spectrum energy spectrum is continuous? Then write beta decay equation. What kind of equation you get in beta decay? This is very familiar and very important and famous also. So why anti-neutrino is there in beta minus decay? Why not neutrino? This is very important question. Why in beta minus or beta negative beta decay there is a emission of anti-neutrino? Why not neutrino? Okay. Then the next question is very crucial. Why alpha spectrum is not continuous? Okay, you are saying beta spectrum is continuous, then why not alpha spectrum is continuous? These are the thinkable questions. Okay, so these are the questions from nuclear physics. Those are asked to Babaji Bhai in his interview at BRC for scientific officer, and finally he did a very well in the interview. That's why he gets selected. So I really appreciate his preparation and struggle, hard work, everything is mixed so that he get a very good result at the end. So thank you Babaji Bhai for your support, for providing me the details question by handwriting, by writing in hand and explain me everything and very well. So hope you are in you are fine and will do a very good research for the nation. And friend, this is the first part, and in the second part of his interview experience I will share the experience, the questions asked from EMT and as well as from some part of the nuclear question are remaining. So remaining question I will be shared in the next part. I hope you will wait for it and stay tuned in my channel. Thanks for your support. Thank you so much.